Good evening, guys. How's it going? I got this transmission out of this thing yet again. Getting pretty good at it. So I'm gonna take y'all in to the bench. I've got both transmissions side by side, sort of. Kind of explain some of the things I found. And hopefully I'm getting this issue resolved, because I've got a pretty big race I got to hit this weekend. I'm running out of time to get this stuff done. Okay, so this was the original transmission that I took out of the bike that didn't want to go in third gear, and this one is back cut real nice. You can see the gears have been bead blasted at some point, so somebody's definitely worked on it. This other one was the one I pulled out of that bottom end I bought for the new bike. Looking at this thing, it looks like it has, I'm sorry. Anyway, if you look, you can see these corners kind of got knocked off of it right there. So that's going to cause a gear, a shift to not want to happen. The gears will bounce off of each other, so to speak, trying to go in. What the hell was that? This clip, any of y'all ever fool with these things, you know what a bear this is. That was on the this transmission, so probably be easier for me to just tell you guys what I've done. This one, I used a parallel. It's steel. It's laying here somewhere. Laid out all the shift forks to verify that they weren't bent. While I had it apart, some of these pins in here had started creeping their way out of the drum. So I used the old plastic pecker right there to kind of knock those back in place. Got this all squared up, put the better looking one of these two detent plates on here. And this clip was really nice. And I will tell you guys, on the bench, these things are way easier to install than they are on the bike. In the bike, rather. So I polished this drum with some 800 grit wet paper and some spray oil. I polished that down real good, make sure there wasn't anything. By the way, when I took this one apart, this thing is a hot mess, guys. It has high spots. You can see where it was shaving the brass off of the, shift forks, you're getting them off. And all these wear, shiny spots. This thing's been all torqued and screwed up and whatnot. I also, to an extent, I guess I rebuilt this pawl assembly. So I changed this arm. The reason I did is because the spline is good on this one. The spline on this other one, not so good. So I took the arm on this one, I took off because these hooks were a little bit more pronounced. Yeah, if I can get it focused, there you go. The hooks on this one looked a lot better than this one, so I went ahead and swapped it out. Swapped the spring. The spring's a lot stiffer, a bit more positive, keep it against the drum. For those that don't know, this dowel pin that's in the shift drum right here, for racing applications, I don't need that. All it does is, if you can see, right up there, right there is the neutral switch. And when that thing rotates and that roll pin hits that in neutral, it turns the neutral light on, which obviously I'm racing this thing. I don't need that. None of that's wired in anymore anyway. And that allows me to get the drum out the front instead of taking all this apart and sliding it out the back. So that made that a lot easier. So getting this thing back together, I'm going to put it back together tomorrow, and I guess I'm going to air it up and run it down the road and make sure everything's good. Yeah, this one here, I guess I'm going to drop this. I don't know exactly who. Oh, look at that fucking gear on there. Okay, so that dude's going in the box right there. It's going to get sent out, I guess, or save it for spare gears or something. I don't know, but I guess I'll end up buying another core for the pro bike. I think that pretty much covers it. I don't know what else I might have done with this. Let's see. I polished the drum. Laid all the forks out on parallel, steel parallel, to make sure they were okay. Everything's moving good. Everything slides. It indexes like it's supposed to. So everything's good. If this thing still doesn't shift, I'm really not finding a reason why. Everything's in good shape. I used the best of everything I had to put this one together, and I used this gearbox because it had those back cut gears, whereas the other one didn't. The other one had those rolled edges, and it was just a hot mess. I mean, you see the video, it looked like a clean pass, but it actually wasn't. That thing jumped into a false neutral several times. Luckily, I was able to let off the throttle so I didn't hit the rev limiter when it happened. But I lost almost a whole second in the 8th mile on that pass. So clearly I was having problems with it. So lesson to myself is, you can't just yank a transmission out of there and slap it in your bike and expect it to be okay. I'll go ahead and do a video tomorrow when I'm putting this in. I know there's been some videos of installing transmissions, setting up shifter pawls, but what the hell, we'll do one. Putting this thing back together. I think that pretty much covers it. I don't make sure you guys make sure your final drive chain is, I don't want to call it snug, but make sure you don't have a ton of play in it, because that will lend itself to shifting issues. So you want to make sure that thing is, and mine's too loose, so I'm gonna have to make an adjustment on that. See how loose that is? That will cause shifting problems too with an air shifter, because it unloads the gears. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tighten that up. Okay, glad I said something. So that's something else I need to take care of. It's going back together. Those will cause you problems when you're using an air shifter. I know it will on the import bikes. I can only imagine how bad it is on these. Everything else is good. It's fine. Everything's holding up. I made 7 passes total on it, and it started developing a shifting issue. And when I put it together, I seen that little clip on the end of that shift drum was boogered up. So, and a lot of guys take those off to get the transmission out, and to be honest with you, I just take both pieces out at the same time, and I will show you guys when I put that together tomorrow. Basically, I take, and both of these are going to go in the cases at the same time. That way I don't have to take this off and pecker with that in the bike. So it just works out better that way. And I've had them in and out of there so much here lately that I'm getting pretty good at it. So that's it for today, guys. I really do appreciate the support. I wanted to say my subscriber rate has increased 375% in the last 28 days. So that tells me that we're on the right track here with content. I do appreciate your support. Appreciate each and every one of you. We're getting close, and I know this isn't a big deal to a lot of guys, but it means a lot to me. So we're getting close to the 100 mark, which again doesn't seem like a big milestone, but to me, I've been at this for about 8 months, kind of fooling around with a little bit of everything, but I think this is where we're going to stick with, and I promise I won't wander off too much, but it'll happen from time to time. But yes, thank you guys very much for your support, each and every one of you that watch. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Thank you. Have a good evening.